Hi, Filter here. Just when I thought I was not going to talk about something, I was every time I want to do my reviews, my Doctor Who reviews. Coincidentally, last night's episode, Kablam, was interesting. I thought it was interesting, but of course, in the wake of Stanley's death, the vultures come out to play. Who's one of these vultures? Bill Maher. It's funny. There are times when Bill Maher actually has something interesting to say, and he might be right. But in this case, I'm at a loss for words. I really am at a loss for words for what this guy has to say. He denigrates comic readers. And this is what's so funny about all this. I'm going to hold on. Let me refresh this page here. I hate clickbait. When you get clickbait on these things, it slows my computer down to the utmost. But here it is. I'm looking at USA Today. Bill Maher slam for disrespecting Stan Lee. Kind of starts out. Oh, great. Let me try this one more time. Well, let me put it this way. Basically, he's saying that people are stupid for reading comics. That's what he's basically saying. In no uncertain terms, he's saying, and that's why Trump is in office. And I kept thinking to myself, while he's basically infantizing people who read comics, it suddenly dawned on me it's his side of the aisle that has infantized the population. It's his side of the aisle. Think about it. How many of us have seen that the left will force kids not to do certain things? We when we were all kids, we ran outside, we got hurt, we brushed it off, we went about our merry way. Now you've got these people on his side of the aisle telling you that kids can't do anything. You have to protect them. And even it goes even with women, the same thing. You can't show them getting hurt or slapped or anything else. For jump selection with an idiot. Well, I'm going to try and read this article. My computer's this is a relatively screwed up computer, and it takes like forever and a day. All right, I'm going to read this article. On Saturday, 6 days after the death of Marvel Comics creator and impresario Stan Lee, Bill Maher posted a short editorial on his website wondering what the fuss is all about, titled Adulting. Now, this is where it's really funny. He kind of, this whole idea of adulting, again, this has been done by his side of the aisle where they turn you into children. The left treats everybody as less than or children. They do. I've said it once, I said it before. It's like they think you're stupid. This is why when you hear somebody saying, they voted for Trump, that's voting against their best interest. And I stood there thinking, that's the most arrogant thing to say. How do you know with that guy somewhere in Arkansas, New York, Florida, or Oregon, how do you know what his best interests are? You see, a parent knows what their child's best interests are. An adult always knows what his or her best interests are because they say, well, I'm going to vote for this because I need this, or this is very highly desirable. But let's get on there. The guy who created Spider-Man and the Hulk has died, and America's in mourning, Marbury began. Deep, deep mourning for a man who inspired millions to, I don't know, watch a movie, I guess. Here's the funny part. Stan Lee once said this. He got letters from people that read his comics, and he would put a lot of interesting words in there, and he basically said, it's the only medium, and even Harlan Ellison put it this way, that it's a medium in which people, kids, would go to the dictionary or the thesaurus to look up the word that he put in. Okay, just food for thought. Continuing. Oh gosh, I'm turning into Umbrella Guy. Now, I have nothing against comic books. I have read them now and then when I was a kid, and I was all out of Hardy Boys. Oh, okay, you can read pictures. But the assumption everybody had back then, both the adults and the kids, was that comics were for kids, and when you grow up, you moved on to big boy books without pictures. Wow, big boy. The current interest in comics, Maher decreed, was due to arrested development of the American public. Ivory Tower clowns had decided comics, would you believe this, were sophisticated literature, while we're using our smarts on stupid stuff. Yeah, gender studies. Yeah, like I said, your side of the aisle, Bill. Your side of the aisle created this atmosphere. I don't think it's a huge stretch to suggest that Donald Trump could only get elected in a country that thinks that comic books are important. Yeah, sort of like believing in pseudoscience and constantly teaching kids transgender studies and gender studies and all the other rot gut that's out there. But I just have to say, I just really have to say, this guy, and people have pointed it out, Bill Maher is a pseudo intellectual. He thinks if he sits next to Richard Dawkins, he's going to be just as smart as he is. There are a lot of people who've read comic books starting out, including the actors who sat on his panel when it's politically incorrect, or now his current show, Real Time, which coincidentally I think he pretty much bit off of Dennis Miller when he had his thing. But here's the thing. I will continue to say this. This atmosphere was created by you, Bill. It was created by you. It was created by you and your ilk. You infantize adults. You infantize the American voter. You think you're way up here, but you're just down here with the rest of us. You, just because you're a comedian, blah, 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 and people think you're smart because you use maybe some thing that you heard, but you're not above everybody else. Comics are part of our culture. It's an American culture. If you don't think that's... Hell, you had Harlan Ellison on your show, Politically Incorrect. Are you going to call him an infant? Would you refer to him as infantized? That man grew up on comic books. Still read them till, I believe, till the day he died. Are you going to call a guy like Neil Gaiman? All these people that you invite on your show. Samuel L. Jackson read comics. If you don't believe me, look at his interview that he gives. It's on the DVD of Unbreakable. He talked about how when he was a kid, he used to do this stuff. He used to read the comics and shit like that. You had him on your show. There's nothing worse in the world than a pseudo-intellectual. Because these are the people that think that because they might read a few books here and there and that, but they don't understand it. Maybe for you, comic books were childish. For the rest of us, it's an escape from the otherwise dreary world to which people like you, Bill, created. Well, it's time for me to have some soothing tea. Heart rate's reaching a little high here. Well, leave a comment below. Rate this video. Hit the notification bell. Until then, I'm Filter. I'm out.